Okay, today I am with John Mehner, the CEO of the Cape Chamber, and today we're going to talk about the Cape Chamber Magnet. There's several things going on with that, and they're going to have new leadership soon, but more importantly, they're going to have a new plan for strategic development. And first of all, how are you doing today? And I'm sure you're busy and you got plenty to talk about.
Absolutely, Cody. No, I'm doing great. Awesome day. And yes, there's lots going on with the Cape Area Magnet.
I talked about it several times with Kim and Taylor for the Chamber update, but I haven't really got anything specific, with an interview about the Cape Chamber Magnet. And from what I understand, it's networking with businesses, bringing them to the local area here in Cape Girardeau, but is there more to it than that?
Yes, the Cape Area Magnet is actually a separate not-for-profit organization that has its own board of directors. It is funded by the cities of Cape Jackson and Scott City, the Cape Chamber, and Cape Girardeau County. And then recently, 6 private investors have come on as well. So they have their own separate board of directors, and it's a separate not-for-profit organization. But their responsibility, Cody, is to recruit businesses to the area and then to also work with businesses in the area that might be expanding. So they are really focused solely on those economic development purposes.
Wow. That's a lot of information there, and I'm sure there's always something happening at the Cape Chamber. I recently reported on one of my news stories that the Magnet will be forming a new strategic plan, as I said, for economic development, and was wondering what were some of the reasons for that. And in all seriousness, was COVID part of that too?
I think in today's world, COVID's part of everything. So yes. So there's new investment in economic development, as I just talked about. There's some new private parties that have been interested in doing public-private partnership in economic development. So that's part of the reason to do a new plan. Coming out of COVID is part of the reason to do a new plan, taking a look at what the economy might look like then. And then, of course, as we've reported earlier, that I'll be leaving my position at the end of this year. So I'll be stepping down from both the Chamber and the Magnet organizations. And so there's going to be new leadership. So you put all of those things together, and it's the perfect time to look at a new strategic plan.
Well, there's a lot going on, as we talked about, before we came on the air, and congratulations on being with
Thanks.
the Chamber for 30 years.
Thanks.
And then, as I read in the article, the new strategic plan will have 3 main points of emphasis. What are those, and when do you hope that they will take effect?
Yeah, so the 3 areas they're going to do is they're going to do a current assessment of where we are now, which will include a SWOT analysis, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So they'll look at all of that with our current economic development situation. They will then enlist a group of local folks to provide input. They'll do focus groups, they'll do surveys, all those kinds of things to help assess where the area believes we need to go with economic development. And then the third and final step will be the plan itself. So hopefully they'll put together, again, Ernst & Young is helping us with this, so they will put together a plan as to where we think we need to go as an area. And Cody, under ideal circumstances, all this gets done before the end of the calendar year. So everything gets done by December of 2021.
Whoa, 3 things to do in less than a calendar year. Heck,
Yeah.
it was just past the 4th of July. We're past the halfway point of the year. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're moving already, but they need to get moving soon if they haven't. And you mentioned the acronym SWOT.
Yeah.
Threats was the last one. Hopefully, there's not a whole lot on that front. I mean, it's all interesting, but I just thought it was interesting that you brought that up.
Absolutely. There's always some things out there that we need to be aware of that can be threatening to your area, and they'll take a look at those as well.
Wow. And are these people that are going to be part of the strategic plan? You said that they're going to get a group together.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be elected, or is it going to be local city officials, or just residents like you and I? Or
it'll be mostly business folks in the area. So mostly business leaders that work with either within their own companies that look at expansions and things, but I'm sure they'll have some private citizen input as well.
Well, it's all going to be interesting, no matter how you look at it. Do you think this new strategic plan for economic development will attract new businesses to the Cape Girardeau area magnet, and just Cape Girardeau in general?
Really, the way this helps, Cody, is once the plan's developed, it helps the group focus its resources on what we end up believing will be the businesses that have the best opportunity to be successful here in the areas that we need to be putting our recruiting efforts in. So hopefully at the end of this, they will have, they've taken a look at our strengths and they've taken a look at where we have opportunities, and it will help us with resource development.
So there's going to be a lot to look forward to, and I wish you the best with that. So,
thanks.
It's very, very interesting. And is there a specific number of small businesses or private investors that the Cape Girardeau area magnet is looking to bring in? This is very specific, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think from a board standpoint, the Magnet board is happy with where we are. They have the public side with the investors that I mentioned. They have 6 private investors now, so that's good, and they're set there for a while. In terms of the number of businesses that we bring in, there's not really a set goal. We'll see if the plan suggests how many they think that we might be able to do over a period of time, but certainly it's more right now about allocating resources and focus on how to have the best results from our efforts.
So in other words, the more the merrier, I guess, is how you kind of want to look at it. And I would have to agree with that. You want to leave the Cape Magnet on strong foundation. I talked to Scott Meyer, the exiting city manager and now former city manager, and we kind of talked about the same front. So I thought, with you, it would also be appropriate.
Exactly.
Did the recovery efforts from COVID-19 pandemic play a role in the plans for new strategic plan for economic development? Obviously, the answer is yes, as you just talked about.
Yeah, the thing, Cody, is many people have realized that our economy is forever changed in certain ways coming out of this whole COVID pandemic. So it's there are some things that are going to be operations that will be changed forever, approaches that will be changed forever. And really what we hope part of what comes out of this plan is in the new post-COVID economy. What does that look like? And what are some ways that we can then take advantage of those things moving forward? So absolutely, like I said, anything in today's world has a little bit of that COVID piece to it for sure.
I figured. I just thought it would be great to reiterate on that. And were there things that you learned from this whole pandemic? I mean, I didn't even know what Zoom was until this pandemic hit. So, I mean, and I mean that in all seriousness. And I thought, that was a good way, if somebody was sick, they could still take part in a meeting or whatever, through a virtual format. But besides technology, and thank goodness for it, what are some other positives that you see?
I think we learned some other things. I think we've seen a shift in to some degree of where people would like to live. We've been getting a lot of interest from people that used to be in much larger metropolitan cities that now would like to maybe move into a place that still offers them a lot of amenities, but maybe not quite as big as the place they were living in before. So suddenly the Cape Jackson MSA becomes much more attractive to a lot of people because of this whole new, virtual piece that you can do so many jobs like that. Where you live is one thing that may change as we move forward. And
I think, and you may agree with me on this, I think commanding, or I don't know what the exact word is, but working from home, I think that's going to go way up here in the next few years.
I agree. That's another piece that will change forever.
And I think that will probably have an effect on the Cape Chamber and the Magnet too.
You're right, no doubt.
And hopefully, all is going well with that. We've covered a lot of information here, but is there a few other things that you want to get to here?
I don't think so, Cody. The only other thing I might add would be when surveys are released by Ernst & Young, and if they're looking for citizen input or even small business or regular business input, I would urge everybody to take part in those when they have an opportunity. The more people they hear from and the more people that sees that opportunity, the better plan we'll end up with in the end.
Have those gone out yet? Because
they have not. That process has not started yet, but stay tuned, and I'm sure on your radio stations and other outlets, we'll make sure we push that information out.
Well, I haven't heard the advertisement, but you said with a long way to go in just a short amount of time, it'll happen. And obviously, I want to think positive, and I think with your great support team and Noah Kim and Noah Taylor, I think things will happen. But if something out of the ordinary happens, do you guys have a backup plan for that?
No, I think we're going to rely on Ernst & Young to be able to come up with a good plan for us, and then we'll hire some leadership after my departure to move forward.
Well, and I hope to get to meet them, and I'm excited to do that. And, in a couple weeks, I'll probably have Kenneth in, the new city manager. Looking forward to that. And obviously, we don't want to talk too much about, the end of 30 years. We'll kind of keep that, that private, if you will. But moving forward, how do you plan to move forward? Not with retirement, but how do you plan to be involved in the chamber and the magnet?
I plan to stay in the area. So certainly, as long as I'm staying in the area, then I'm going to be involved in the community. But I will not be. I won't get in the way of whoever takes my place. So I plan to still contribute and have fun, but stay out of the way.
Well, I mean, do you still plan on having your phone handy, and if they have questions, you'll always be there?
Absolutely, we'll always do that
for them. Yeah. Sounds pretty good, pretty good, John. And one of the things I wanted to ask you before we go, I usually like to have my interviews in quarterly. I don't know what you've got planned over the next few months, but if somebody gets hired in the next couple months or whatever, would you mind coming in with them so I can get to know them and that sort of thing?
Would love to, Cody. Absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully. That happens sooner rather than later. I'll get to meet somebody new, so I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
And, I'm sure that process has already started. Again, thanks for your time, and we look forward to talking again soon.
All right, thanks, Cody. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.